Hello, everyone. We are coming up on the end of the first month of 2021. We all hope it's going to be better than last year's months. Today, we're going to be talking about what we talk about, which is the questions we have gotten. We've kind of touched on them here and there. We've decided to do one entire session on just the questions, and we're only doing a few of them because it turns out we have a lot. We are going to start off. First of all, I got to say hi to everybody. Hello. We are here with Nix. We are here with Paulo. We are here with Chris. We are here with G. I'm Carl. Hello. We're going to start off with some questions, and we're going to throw it to Nix. Nix, all these people that are messaging you, and hopefully they are not all men. What are their questions?
We got a question here from Jay. If the Stonic is a subcompact crossover and the Sportage is a compact SUV, what do you call the Seltos? How do you define crossover and SUV?
G has the answer for this.
If I may correct Jay, the Stonic is considered technically a mini compact, like the Picanto and the Soluto. The Seltos is your subcompact, which, like the City and the Vios and the Rio. And the Sportage is the compact, which is pretty much like the Forte. And when you say crossover, it's a mix between, an SUV technically used to be based on a truck pickup platform, like the
That's
Fortune.
correct.
Yep. And then the crossover, it crosses, hence the name crossover, car platform with SUV type body. So there.
Yeah, the lines are getting more and more blurred, but traditionally an SUV has to be rear wheel drive, right?
Yep. Now it's front.
So that's a major thing.
Yep. Or even all-wheel drive. For four-wheel drive, it used to be.
Well, yeah, four-wheel drive, but at least rear-wheel drive on a two-wheel drive version. Yeah.
Correct.
So there are mini compact crossovers, subcompact crossovers, and just compact crossovers. So, and manufacturers will probably fill in the gaps in between those as the years goes on.
For sure.
So far, that's what we have.
They will.
Me, what I personally do, I get the car, like the SUV or crossover in question, and I cut it horizontally. If the top part looks like it can be a car, I call that a crossover.
Okay.
Okay.
That works.
That works for
Next
next.
question.
Yeah. Okay, next question. Wait, let me put it up. Okay.
Any recommendation for a city car with good or at least some steering feel and that is fun to drive? Or is that asking too much? LOL.
LOL. Or LOL.
No.
We've got, there are a lot of great budget cars that actually are really fun to drive and have a good steering feel. My recommendation would be the Honda Brio. It's actually a really nimble car and really fun to drive. How about you guys?
Used Miata.
Used Miata. Actually, I think it hit the price range. Because this video was for the Espresso, so it second-hand Miata actually fits at price range.
Well, it has to be like a really old one.
Yeah, and you're gonna have to do some work to it.
Yeah.
No, not at all. Okay, it's a whole different discussion, but not at all.
Yeah. For me, if Chris said Brio, I'd say the Mazda 2. Like, you'll have to pay a lot more though, but I'd say Mazda 2. But it's at least bigger.
I'd go with the Kia Picanto. It's a fun little car.
Oh, it's also good. That's also a good choice. How about you, Paolo?
Chris got my pick, but fine. I'll go for the Stonic.
Yes. Yeah. Anyway, you can have a manual.
Stonic boy.
720, 735.
Yeah, you're such a Stonic boy.
Yeah.
So you guys all think that these inexpensive cars will, they differentiate themselves enough to be, they would make you happy because of their handling?
Yeah, for the Mazda 2, I'd say yes. And actually, even the Brio, Chris.
That's a good thing. That means that people coming into the market at a inexpensive point have something that will make them enthusiastic about how a car feels. So very cool.
Because at this price point, I mean, manufacturers are compromising a lot of things, and one of those is usually steering feel. Like at below 900,000, it's really just a car to get from point A to point B, and not like through mountain corners. So they don't really prioritize steering feel and dynamics.
But the Brio,
at that price range.
the Brio
but except there are exceptions. And the Mazda 2, the Brio. These are all great exceptions.
There are no canyon carvers, but they'll give you a smile.
Oh yeah. Okay. Next question. Okay.
I have never owned. Sorry. Go ahead.
The name. Say the name first. The Dice.
I don't even know how to pronounce these names. Forget. I'm not saying the names. I'm not saying the username. Okay. Anyway. I have never owned a Kia before. Can you guys comment on their aftermarket service, repairs, spare parts, etc.?
This was from the first impression video.
Yeah.
So I guess you're asking.
Well, that's the thing with Kia is you have like kind of two lives, right? You had Kia the way it was handled before, and you have Kia the way it's handled now with the Ayala Group. And the new group has made giant strides in their attempt to convince people that they will handle servicing better. They just did a discussion on it a week ago, which we attended, based on also their new branding strategy. Point of it is they are set up. The car that you're using as a test vehicle is actually what Paolo drove. Paolo, tell us, as an example, tell us what the warehouse looked like.
Yep. So they have a big warehouse down south. They import a lot of parts regularly from abroad, and they basically have parts for all of their lineup, for their whole lineup right now. But they also service older generation cars. So even cars that were released back when Ayala didn't handle Kia.
That's good to know.
They understand that there was some kind of reservation with how Kia handled their after sales back then. So that's what they're trying to answer for this one.
So even the older cars, they have.
Like if I have a Kia Soul, for example, they actually have the parts.
For the first car.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Just look at all the stuff behind Paolo.
Yeah.
and they have the logistical support behind it. One interesting thing they said was that when something starts getting ordered, they don't replace it; they double the order. Which means and they're using it as a signifier of, okay, we're getting more interest now, so we need to be ready for it. And they've also partnered with people like DHL, I think, to make sure that it gets out to the dealers. And remember, the dealers also have their own stock, so this is really just part of the chain.
That's impressive.
So
short answer is Kia is definitely putting a huge emphasis on aftermarket and spare parts, perhaps maybe more than other manufacturers. So they know that this was a problem in the past, and they're really working on making it better. So
I think this guy's planning to buy a Stonic. Next question.
Okay. Is he wearing two watches? This is referring to our video review of the Toyota Corolla Cross with Carl driving.
Yes, I am.
Do you have the two watches?
We have two watches. Okay. Basically, what I'm going to do? Volt in, right? Okay. No. You got to remember, we also run Caliber magazine, which is a watch magazine. Half of the stuff is cars. Half of the stuff is watches. Half of it is pens, which means it's three halves, which makes no sense. But basically, yes. A lot of people nowadays do use one smartwatch, heart rate monitor, tech thing, so on, and the other one. Okay, on one hand, I have the. This is a Apple smartwatch. The other one is a Oris Carl Brashear, which is now in its third iteration. By the way, so
really nice.
It's really cool. This is the. By the way, this is the Caliber strap. It's a CLBR 101 made by Erica's, and this is the first Oris Carl Brashear, and the third one now has an Erica strap as an original, as an OEM part.
Yeah, awesome.
So they must know someone that knew Erica. Haha. Anyway, okay. So there, yes, we wear two watches, or I wear two watches.
But one's a smartwatch. Okay.
Yes,
Okay.
that's true.
Okay, this one.
This or the top of the line Ford Everest 4x4 from R. This is referring to the video review that we did of the Mitsubishi Montero Sport 4-wheel drive GT.
Really good
So
question.
this is a tough one to answer. I mean, this practically boils down to personal preference almost.
It will, for sure.
Because you have more or less the same features. And so
for me, at least, like I mean, testing them all, I think when it comes to off-roading, the Ford Everest 4x4 has an edge. When it comes to off-roading, with its terrain select, I forgot their marketing name, but because on the fly, you can select the different modes on like what terrain you're going through, whether it's mud, sand, rock.
Mechanically, you could argue that the Everest is the superior car because of the 10-speed auto and the bi-turbo, the 200 horsepower, right? 200 horsepower bi-turbo engine.
Do they both have the slip differential? The Manix, you were saying that.
Yes, yeah, they both do.
Okay.
What do they cost?
The Montero's 450.
The Everest is cheaper. 2,450. The Ford Everest, let's check.
We can look at those prices. The Ford Everest top of the line bi-turbo titanium is
Titanium
2.299 titanium plus. It's 2.299.
Oh, God.
150,000.
Yeah,
and the Montero Sport 2.4 GT 4-wheel drive is 2.450. So Montero Sport is more expensive.
Yeah, but having said that, Mitsubishi has some of the dealers give big discounts. So
also, I like the driving feel of the Montero Sport. That's why. It for me it feels more of a driver SUV than the Everest.
Yep. I think the Everest is more for people who appreciate like a city drive, because comparing it to its rivals and the flat frame SUV, it has the lightest steering. Everything else feels similar. It's kind of firm and a bit heavy, but it gives you more of like a truck feel talaga.
It does. It does tighten up as you get faster. But when you're at really low speeds or at a standstill, you could turn the wheel with your pinky if you wanted to.
Yeah.
That's how light the steering is. Talking about the Ford Everest,
The Everest.
Okay, next question.
Okay, next question.
Oh boy.
For one of our fans, Isuzu Diesel. Shout out to Isuzu Diesel.
This is a question about our Cars Casually video talking about second-hand cars versus brand new cars.
Brand new.
Yeah.
Great vid once again. What's your take if there was a second-hand car of the same generation but lower year versus brand new unit? Take, for example, recently repossessed units due to the pandemic. Also, I love the part where you all looked at cars in the market and gave your thoughts on it, if it was a good deal or not. Plus some background on the model. I like that. I like that episode too. We should do that again.
Yeah.
Thanks for these discussions. Keep me entertained while working at home. Would love to have these as 1-hour episodes. All right.
Wait, so are we over an hour or under an hour? It's very
your wish might come true.
True.
Okay.
Can't stop.
There's always like people who want more than 1 hour and people who want less than 1 hour. We can't make them all happy.
Yeah.
Okay, so Nick.
Yes.
Go.
Yeah, Nix, you seem to really like this topic, so maybe you can answer this one.
Because this topic really is close to my heart because I'm this kind of buyer where I don't mind getting an older unit of the same generation because it's mechanically the same. You're just paying for like extras that you might not need. So the plus side on getting the second-hand car of the same generation but lower year is that by now you know if the car as a whole is working well or not. But the downside is just like every second-hand car is the condition that you're going to be getting it in. So as long as the car's in like good condition, you inspect it. If there's like like a history on like the service history, should be fine. I'd say it should be fine to get.
Yeah, a lot of people actually wait for deals like that.
Yeah.
Because they take the 20% plus depreciation and basically get the same car, which other people will say, wow, it's a current model car. So
Yeah.
positives are you get that deal. Negatives are you want to figure out why they wanted to sell that car.
Yeah.
Right. So that's it. But yeah,
Was
Yeah.
it repossessed or was it something else? So yeah, check the history. Yep, the papers.
Yeah, because okay, from what I hear about repossessed cars, because the owner, like before it gets repossessed, they get disgruntled. They sometimes they trash the car. Like they rip the car as much as they can. They change the
Ooh.
wheels.
That's an interesting point. Yeah.
Yeah, I like my banker friends, I heard a lot of horror stories on like, okay, like for example, like a car that gets repossessed is a Toyota Vios, the top of the line, G, if I'm not mistaken.
G. Yep. G.
Or is it G?
It's a G.
And then parang when they see the actual car, it's like steel wheels, and then like things are missing. Like it happens. It happens.
Yeah.
Somewhere, someone out there is going, "Oh, great idea!"
yes.
I should have,
It'll come down to check the car itself. Basically.
yeah, always inspect. Like, if you're not experienced in checking cars, have someone you know who's experienced in checking cars to check it for you.
Bring a mechanic or someone you
Yeah,
trust.
diba?
Knows cars.
Mhm.
Yep.
To go a long
Understand
way.
it. Also understand if
If
it's
it's like-
things like they've changed the wheels or something. Those are things you can negotiate the price on, right?
Yeah, you can bring the price down. Yeah.
Kasi ultimately, it's the bank that will parang dictate how much they'll sell it to you anyway.
Yeah. There was this
My
one
father,
really
you were
smart
saying?
guy that said, there are no bad products, only bad prices.
Yeah, the one in the pinaka-bottom
yeah,
right now.
Chris is smiling.
True.
Yeah, so it was Chris who said that. And it's a very good point. You know, what might be a bad deal for you because you need a brainless decision, right? It might be a great car for someone who says, yeah, but I can change the wheels, I can change the stereo, you know. So there.
So
Paulo, you were going to ask something?
an example of this is it like the pre-facelifted BRV and the updated BRV?
Yeah,
Example.
yeah, that's the example. Yeah.
Okay.
You tell the
It's
difference.
basically the same car, right?
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
What's your take on it?
If I put myself in the shoes of a buyer, and I would consider the money. If it's almost the same car, they just added new bumpers and lights, I would probably go for the second-hand car, especially considering it's just 2 or 3 years old. And then I would
Yeah. How about if they added like stuff you really like? Let's say Android Auto and then
the thing with
LED
that-
headlights.
Yeah, the thing with Android Auto and Apple CarPlay, I think I can easily buy a head unit for that.
Yeah.
But
Oh,
yeah.
those are expensive though. Those are expensive.
Really?
Yeah.
Like how much?
Yeah, like
For less than
30K.
10.
Yeah, about 30 grand.
Oh, really?
It's still
Yeah,
gonna be
for like
cheaper than like buying a second-hand car and the brand new unit, right?
Yeah.
The difference. The price difference.
Like if it's sticker price, yeah. But you also
Yeah.
have to remember, at least when you're buying the brand new car, it's brand new. Like so, all the
That's
parts
true.
are brand new.
With
So
the
you have to
brand
really
new
weigh it out.
smell,
Also the
flat-
warranty.
Yeah.
You gotta point out.
Yeah,
what's
yeah.
the warranty trend?
Warranty.
How much
Yeah.
is
Okay.
the warranty, if ever,
Most will do, but you have to check like
Yes, you have to
with
check.
the dealership.
Yeah.
You have to check with
I
the
think I might
dealership.
change my mind. I
Because
would
they
rather
do,
consider
they
that.
will say it one time and they might have a different opinion by the time you get the car. You know, it
Well,
does
like
happen.
what we always promote in the show, it's like like think it through, educate yourself, so that because most of these there's no direct answer. So like,
Buy what you love and do your homework.
Yeah,
I
there
realize
you go.
that
Our
Still don't
model.
have a T-shirt.
cars, if you have
I
the
want-
cash on hand, then that's better. But if you
Yes,
don't have it,
that's true.
then
Yeah.
it might be better to have the monthly amortization. I don't know. I haven't bought a car myself, so take that with a grain of salt.
No, it's
Yeah,
things
you
to
have to
consider. Yep, it's
consider,
maybe
yeah.
we'll do one show on that. We should get a
Yeah.
banker for that to explain it to us.
Wait, your
Yeah.
question was: Is it easy? Is it better to buy cash? Or-
Because I realized that brand new cars now, they have a lot of tie-ups with banks.
A lot of
and
financing options.
Yeah.
a lot of
Yeah.
financial options.
Yeah.
So it gives buyers better deals,
More
with
flexibility. Yeah.
more flexibility. Uh,
Yeah.
so I guess sometimes there might be cases when it's actually easier or more practical to get a brand new one.
Yes,
Actually,
correct.
uh, you can go ahead.
Go ahead, G.
No, I was just gonna say that even for second-hand cars, you can take out a loan from a bank,
Yes, you
and
can.
then
You can.
yeah, you pay
Oh,
the buyer in cash,
yeah.
and then pay the bank
That's
directly. But
correct.
Paolo
Mm.
does have a point that
Yeah,
you might get better deals if you buy a brand new car because the dealer or the manufacturer has tie-ups with certain banks. So it's really,
correct.
yeah,
Correct. They also have to move the car. You also have the fact that the financing company wants you to become their client, so they
yes.
might be more aggressive. Anyway, okay.
Yeah.
Answer is check them all out first. Okay, next question. Who? Nick or Chris?
Next question from T. Planning to go for the hybrid. Is it a good choice? I'm guessing this is also from our Corolla, Toyota Corolla
Cross, yeah.
Cross video.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
So yeah, the
Yes, 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 yes.
hybrid
Yeah.
hybrids are always a good choice. They are more expensive than the non-hybrids, obviously. But the prices have been getting better through the years. The Prius when it first appeared was way over 2
2.4.
million.
Yeah.
2.4 million.
Yes.
And that was
Speaking of family,
around 2009.
Yep.
Yeah, but so at that time you could buy an Audi A3 for the price of
Same money.
a
It's
Prius.
true.
Yeah. It didn't make a lot of sense, but now that's getting better. The Corolla Cross is 1.6 something. 1.650 for the hybrid, which is it's not ideal, but really close to it, and it's getting better as taxes are getting more lenient. But yeah, hybrid for me is the future, or any electric vehicle. Honestly,
Yeah.
what do you guys think?
Yeah.
My opinion is when you're getting a hybrid, don't think that you're like buying it to save gas, as in like money wise. Because if you do, it's not by much. It's really
Yeah.
buying it to make less of a pollution impact in the world.
Right.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
Because in
hybrids are
traffic,
great.
it's
That particular
yeah.
one. Yeah, sorry. That particular one is the best example we've got yet of them getting it right. I think it's the way to go. I mean, I'm clearly a fan of the hybrid. You just need to understand which hybrid you're getting. Some are mild, which don't do the same thing as the other ones.
That's true. That's true.
Parallel.
But for Toyota, like 2 years ago, me, Chris, and Paolo, we went to Tagaytay with the Corolla Altis hybrid. And on the way up and like on the way back down, we're like, it's as efficient as a regular Corolla, right? But when it hit traffic, that's where it became actually more efficient because of the hybrid system.
Plus, hybrids are actually very, very pleasant to drive
Yeah.
when they're in electric mode. It's a much more relaxed environment in a lot of ways.
Yeah. There's also a lot of fear now about how if hybrids break down, particularly the battery, how expensive will it be to maintain? The thing is, Toyota is also putting a lot of effort in aftermarket service, particularly with the batteries. Sometimes they have very, very deep discounts on battery replacements.
Yeah.
If not completely replacing the battery under warranty for free, or
Yeah.
even when.
And-
And I've heard stories. I guess it's dealer to dealer, but I've let's just say that they are going through a lot of trouble to alleviate the fears of expensive battery maintenance and replacements.
Yeah.
Yeah, you won't be left behind. Like if you choose to buy a hybrid, you won't be left behind. That's for sure.
Yeah.
And as far as the Toyotas are concerned, they're using nickel metal hydride, I think. They're not the lithium one. So they're cheaper. They're cheaper to replace.
They last long. Like
Yeah, and they last long.
they're about 8 to 10 years.
Oh yeah, 8 to 10 years is what they claim.
Which makes
No, they're
Yeah.
pretty spot on. We actually
Yeah.
remember we do have global data on that, and
Yeah.
Yes.
they actually do last. All the questions we have been asked by other markets for the last 15 years.
My sister has a Prius hybrid in the US and it's going on 9 years old, but it's still going.
did she ever change
Yeah.
the battery?
I don't think
No,
so.
not yet.
Not
But,
yet. Yeah.
they're looking out for it already.
In
But,
colder countries, it can last 10 plus, like
Yeah.
plus years.
I guess
and this is going to Chicago winters, so there.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
true.
And they actually have a brilliant program for reusing all those batteries, which we can discuss
Yeah.
another time. But it's brilliant.
Yeah.
It's really good, and I've seen it at work. Okay, next question.
Okay lang po ba 95 octane ikarga kaysa 91 octane? Salamat po sa sagot. Okay, so
This is for the Toyota Vios XE video. Love that car actually. That's like the definition of plain and
So-
practical.
Yeah.
if we're talking about the Vios, I don't think 95 octane will make a difference because the Vios's engine is not built to take advantage of the extra.
It's a 93 octane, right? Yeah.
yeah.
No, that's a really good way of
Yeah.
saying it, Chris. It's a very good way of saying it.
Usually what do you call it? High octane? Is that? Yeah.
High
Well,
performance.
Yeah, high octane.
high octane gasoline or high octane fuels are there for cars that can make use of it, which are, to put it simply, supercars, sports cars, high-end sports cars, things like
Yeah.
Porsches and Lamborghinis and Ferraris. I am not a technical person, so I can't answer why exactly. Francis should be here for that. But
That's it.
to make the long story short, that's what I've heard. You have to make sure that your engine is able to take advantage of the
Yes.
extra octane. If
Someone
not, there will be no difference at all. And if there is, it's placebo.
Yeah. The basic thing with octane is that the general idea is octane is there to reduce what they would call pinging, okay, which is kind of like a misfire engine knock, right, within the engine. Now, this is kind of an old school way of thinking. A lot of modern cars are very different. And the people that use the high octane fuels, and I am one of them for some of my cars, they use it because their cars are tuned to a certain level where they can use it.
Yeah.
So, for example, and that's even within brand is different. For example, I will put Petron Blaze in the the Legacy regularly, and it will run well. But I do not put that in the Outback because it's really not meant for it anymore. So you can go lower. And actually, honestly, the service person said, don't put it in. We have heard service people who say, do not use high octane fuel for these cars. In particular, the Mazdas, because number one, they don't need it, and number two, they're not built to use it. So do not use them. It can be detrimental. Okay.
Yeah.
So it's not the reason. Okay, remember that cars in general, just like gases, are meant to hit the lowest common denominator, right? They need to run more than anything else. They need to run before they need to run at 300 kilometers an hour. So the companies are trying to build these cars to take advantage of octane levels all over the world and still run. Okay, so ideally, what we used to say was, find the one that doesn't give you knock and just save your money. Okay.
Yeah.
The counter to that by fuel companies is, okay, but we're adding scrubbing things and special oils and special
Additives,
components. Yeah. There are yeses and nos to that. It's really on an individual basis. Let's all remember one thing is that a lot of these guys get the same fuel from the same places all over the world.
Yeah.
Okay. They mix them, add them in the Philippines or wherever. They add the additives. It'll come down to try it, basically.
Yeah. It'll really check the the manual of your car and then follow the octane rating. So for example, let's say the Camry, they recommend 95, use 95. If you put 98, you're not gonna get the benefits of a 98 octane fuel.
Yeah. And you might honestly cause problems.
Yeah, but to answer if for the Vios cars out there, use at least 93 if you ask me. 93 because that's what the car's rated for.
It's a Toyota Vios that will run on anything. I think if you drive by a gas station and wave, you'll be fine.
Yeah. Okay,
All right,
next question. From Facebook.
Hi, may I ask, what is better car to get in a long-term basis? Cool Ray Sport or Okavango? Thank you. Been watching a while and you're all very informative.
Smiley.
So we're gonna have
Are?
Isuzu Diesel's 1 hour show now, though, aren't we?
Yeah, looks like.
Wish grant.
Yeah, looks like.
Wish granted.
Apollo, thoughts?
Long-term basis. Well, it depends on what kind of buyer you are. Like, if you're married or if you're single. Because if you are married or you have a family or a big family, I
Looking
think
at
the
you,
long-term
Chris.
answer is
Long term meaning like you're single and then you get married and then you have kids. That long term.
that long-term. If you plan on keeping a car for like 10 years and you have those demographics, and I would recommend the Okavango because it's just more practical in terms of size, and you don't really scrimp on the technology you would see on the Coolray because whatever you see at the Coolray, you would also have on the Okavango. You have the
Yeah.
360-degree camera, the same kind of plushness in the interior. You also see that in the Okavango, and it spreads throughout Geely Philippines lineup. So yeah, but you know, the Coolray is still a capable everyday car in terms of practicality because sure it's a subcompact crossover, but you know, like there's still a lot of space even at the back.
Okay.
Mm.
Well,
Oh, it is.
He asked long-term basis, so that kind of assumes that he's asking. It's interesting
she.
because he's asking about maintenance and so on. That's what it seems like, but it's all within the same family. So the question is not does Geely. He's not questioning Geely. He's questioning the individual models, which is actually
which
telling you that
cars?
he's fine with Geely at this point, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And these are
Well,
basically very similar engines, very similar platforms. So they would kind of be the same.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the growth question of Paulo, the answer to that is actually spot on. What do you see yourself doing in 4 years?
True. The only thing that
the
Coolray
Coolray. Okay, sorry. Go ahead.
oh, sorry. Okay. The only thing that the Okavango doesn't have is that parking assistant, the automatic parking assistant, which the
Thank you, G.
Coolray has.
which I think naman like like I'm
I
going
don't think
to
you can
sacrifice
use
that
it.
for size.
It's a toy, really. So there.
Size and
Yeah.
performance.
Until you're paying the money for the person that bumped your car.
Yeah.
Oh no. The Coolray isn't a mild hybrid, so there.
Yeah.
That's true,
One thing I've come to notice after several years of car ownership is that space becomes more and more important as you get older.
Because you can't add.
True.
Once you get the car, you can't add space.
You can't add space unless you get a roof rack and put them on top of your car. So, the Coolray is great. It's a great for the moment car, in my opinion.
Yeah.
It's really fun. It's very sleek. But there are limitations to its size. I mean, just like the rest of the cars in its segment. If you're thinking like really long term, like 10 years long term, where you might actually have a family in the middle of that, you'll find the Coolray will hit its limits pretty quickly.
Inside.
Yeah.
Whereas the opposite, if you get the Okavango while you're still single, it's not going to be as fun to drive because it's bigger and it's more lumbering. It's not as
And wasted
agile.
space.
And then you're going to be thinking, what am I going to do with all this space that I don't use? But then after
Paulo does.
10 years or so, you'll start to appreciate as you need more and more room for groceries and you need to move furniture and stuff like that.
Yeah.
You will start to appreciate it. So there you go.
So the
There's
answer is
always
buy the
the
fun car
mattress.
while you still can.
Yeah. Like
Buy the fun car while you can.
I guess for me, like Coolray is fine. Actually, I'd get the Coolray between the two.
No, but
Yeah.
I think
Okay.
remember you said something before na the Coolray is for the young guy, the Okavango is for the middle-aged family man,
Yeah.
and the
Yeah.
Sierra is for the
Well, manufacturers
I'd
like to fill in segments that cater to all people in
Walks of
various
life.
stages of life. So yeah, but if we're talking long term for people who want to hold their cars for 10 years or more,
Okavango.
then you have to take into consideration exactly what Carl said. Where are you going to be in year 8, year 9? Where are you going to be in your life? Will you have kids by then? Will you, So yeah. That's an important question to answer too.
That was a really good question, and we're going to wrap up on that. One comment we would like to make is that we're all car guys. We're all enthusiasts. We all have cars that are up there in age. I have cars that are older than Paulo. So don't I? I do, right? Yeah. Okay. Which will bring us into the whole new attempt for a classic car case for registration, right? We're all emotionally attached to our vehicles, to our cars. We all keep them longer than a lot of people
We
do.
should.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we like it. The question about the used car, I think a used car, if you get the right one, is a gem.
Yep.
I would rather.
Diamonds
I
in
mean,
the rough.
yes, they are, no question. A
Yeah.
used car that's working well is a blessing. You know what you've got. You didn't pay as much for it. You'll be happy with it. It's not just a buy. So
Yeah.
there. Anyway, okay. So that has been our first session on just answering questions. We learn a lot from these questions, and we learn what we're not doing right. We learn what we need to do better. So thank you very, very much for them. We are wrapping up now. We'll be answering more again, of course. This has been Paulo. This has been Nick. This has been Chris. This has been G. I'm Carl. Thank you very, very much for all your questions, all your comments, and we will see you again soon. The Cars Casually gang is out. Goodbye.
See ya,
Minus
everyone.
Francis,
Nice.
Miss Francis.
Yeah, Frances, get back here.
Bye.
Bye.